Alright, so it's just right about time to get this thing apart and see what's inside. So I removed the cover from the back, and as you can see, there is a huge assortment of transistors in a TO3 package. Classic. So we see here, those are all, I think they're all the same, yeah, by the looks of it. I don't know what's behind those, but you know, those are all 2N3055s, classic NPN transistors in a TO3 package. Power NPN transistors are probably the all the series pass regulators for the power supplies. So we have a bunch of transistors here, so a lot of voltages. Those little ones are 2N3054s. Very nice construction, I have to say. This is the whole back here. It's a quite thick aluminum plate, so it's obviously acting as a huge heatsink, and they actually have some additional heatsinks here on those. Probably the main 5 volts rails, I don't know. But the side here was actually covered, and I don't know if you can see it, but on the bottom there's this vent hole here, so the air from the fan here is actually is going in here this way and going out this way here, and goes out from the top. A very nice thermal design. Nothing really here. There was the actual CRT here, and all the NIM modules. Here are the power supply. The two huge transformers are just there. On the back here, there's the power supply board, and I will actually show you. That's very interesting. I don't really know what they are doing here, but look at that resistor. So, you know, it's a power resistor right here, but they actually used a little nichrome wire wrapped around and in parallel with the resistor. So, well, yeah, is it some kind of current sensing resistor of some sort? I don't know. That's interesting, and they actually did it all over the place. Look at those three on the bottom here. And this poor little op-amp here has seen better days. So it's time for the most interesting part. And there are some boards. I actually took out this, there were actually 3 more boards right here. Is the actual memory, which is a magnetic core memory. I'm gonna actually take each one out, briefly show you the board. So let's start from this one. Alright. It's so nice how they labeled just everything here. This is the 1800 board, and here it is, 1800. And it's packed with chips here. I really don't know the part number here. These are all kind of identical chips. But look at the bodges here. This is the 1808, and the other one was just tin plated, and this one is actually gold plated. And those are just all custom. I cannot recognize it. Oh, there is something here from Texas Instruments. The SN15836N from apparently 74 on the codes here. And this is another tin plated board with some other logic. We have another one from Texas Instruments here. This is the same one from the other. And ooh, is this a Fairchild chip here? Look at that. another templated one. So a bunch of miscellaneous date codes here. Oh man. Oh. Oh. We have a writing here. Okay, well, I cannot really. It's very faded. Del NIM del Laben 8.61 del NIM 8001. So it says that this board has been actually taken from another instrument. From the NIM module 8001. By the looks of it. Right. Okay, so now it's gold plated, and we have a huge switch here, switching a lot of stuff. Yeah, not really. But we have some relays here. Those are reed relays from Micro Clear Reed relay made in Belgium. And another board with unknown parts again. Look, someone cut the trace. Alright. And we have other reed relays right there. And some other chips here, some kind of logic. So everything is gold plated. And some jumper links. That's a good board. And it's packed with some logic chips, I don't know, some custom part number chips. And here's the bottom. Oh, there is, this is interesting. So we have a crystal here, which is a 2 megahertz crystal. So written right there, megahertz 2. And we have an original Budgie Budge right there, which is a dead bug, little chip. No, it's actually glued on the bottom side, and this actually flipped, so it's a dead bug kind of modification here. Look at this thing. And what's going on with this wire here? Ooh, this is actually disconnected. Where this thing was supposed to go, I have no idea. And we have mods also on the bottom side. Here and here also. Oh, we have a little interconnector board. That's a Prolunga in-out. Everything is gold plated here, so it's actually quite cool. Alright, so the last two boards here. This is a 1671. So this is interesting. There are a bunch of chips here, but what's interesting is the this is Unità 8901 Matricola 037. So unit and alright. And here is has been tested by this guy here. Whoa. And again, there's some labeling here has been tested. So we have a 1515846N from Texas Instrument by date code 70. And we have a bunch of discrete stuff here. And some operational amplifiers here. Those are LM. So National Semiconductor LM306. And the date code here it's 700370. So third wick 70. There's some scratches between the pins. Also here. That's interesting. So let's see briefly the bottom boards. Oh, and this one has a card edge connector. Alright. Alright, so we have some readable parts here. Those are all SM7490. Whoa, and a bunch of them. Look at the traces here, that's really cool. Alright, so again some board packed with some custom parts with some trimmers. Whoa, that's hard to turn. Alright, so here's another board. As again, it's full of chips, and we have some 7490s again. And those are from 71 by the looks of it. Alright, so this one is a little bit more interesting. We have some logic happening here, but we also have some discrete components and some op-amp of some sort. We have some budges here, some resistors, and that's interesting. Someone repaired it or modified it. You can actually see some flux residues. Alright, so another board packed with little chips. Custom part numbers. Again. So nice how they actually have some those test pins, so you can actually grab with the oscilloscope and when this thing is actually running. So yeah, it's pretty much the same, all custom part numbers. Here's the bottom. Alright, so this should be interesting. Whoa, those are some power devices on a big heatsink. And I don't know what those devices are. That's really cool. Probably some amplifiers of some sort. Everything here is done. It's actually wired by hand. Probably someone has actually modified this thing. So those boards here are a little bit difficult, but I'm gonna try to remove them because those are actually have some pretty thick wires. This was actually really stuck there, but here it is. Alright, that's interesting. Okay, so we have this board here. We have some 2 watts, 60 ohms, and we have some various capacitors, and those are relays by the looks of it. But look at that, that is interesting. Is this actually, those are actually melted. Alright, so let's try this. Alright, so this is not a relay. Alright, so I have here the little module here, and there are a few components inside. As you can see, there are 2 inductors. Everything is actually there are 2 single modules inside. There is an inductor, a diode, a resistor, and a what you seem to be a transistor. And it's actually replicated 2 times, as you can see here. I really want to get the this resin off. I'm gonna try some solvents in order to dissolve it. There we go. And leave it there for a little while. Alright, so this is the second time I'm trying to putting this thing. Submerge into the acetone bath here for about 2 or 3 days. So yeah, let's turn on the fan. Acetone is not particularly good for your health, so be careful with that. You actually may ask why I'm not using rubber gloves to protect my skin from acetone, because there is a simple reason. I have nitrile gloves, and you know, acetone is a very, very aggressive solvent, and not every plastic, in fact very few plastics, can actually withstand the power of acetone. Alright, so that's the best that it can actually do here, and also because the actual PCB itself is becoming really soft, because it has no resin left. There's just the glass fiber right there. So I think it's some kind of filter. I don't say capacitor, so it's not like a regular high pass filter or low pass filter. And not having the pinout of those transistors, I cannot really draw a schematic on this. So yeah, unfortunately, has a huge cable here. That's a really cool board. How many transistors there are here, and there's a bunch of SN15836Ns from Texas Instruments. All date code are from 69. All those cables are individually passed through the board and hand soldered, which is just amazing. And here is the interconnect board. Look how many tiny wires are here, all cut to length and soldered. Those are all hand soldered probably. And look how many wires are running on the back here. This is just a nightmare. And it's a nightmare to fix. Look at those wires. This is just a mess. Wow. And look at the back here. Those are just wires running on the back of the cartridge connectors. Alright, so let's disassemble this part here. So this should actually come off like a module. You can just pull those off, and there we go. And there we go. And there is all the circuitry for the thumb wheel switches, and oh no, there is a wire. Just the amount of work that went into making this thing is just incredible. I mean, just look at the attention to details here. All the little tubing here for the little lamps, and this is a very low serial number here. It's 17, and this one apparently is 42. So yeah, different number, but has been tested by Jerry. Alright. Yeah, that's nothing too much interesting here. Alright, so I have the huge pile of boards out. So I have no reason to keep them as they are, so I don't have any plan for those, except frame some of those, because just look at this one, for example. Just a work of art, so will actually be a nice display. For the majority of the boards, I'm gonna actually try to get the salvageable components out, and you know, discard the board, and I'm gonna try, get the gold out of this. So yeah, it's gonna actually be interesting to see if I can salvage also the gold from the boards, because almost all of these boards are all gold plated, and that is a very thick plating. It's not just a thin plating as, you know, cheap plating. It just is just really thick plating, and that's what I intend to do. All right, so have one of the Laben boards here. Those are the worst capacitor I ever seen. Look at those. Not really the worst that I ever seen, but you know, they actually come pretty close. All right, so this is a I think it's a Sprague, some kind of a, or an ATB. I've never seen those, but geez, look at the there's a little rubber stopper at the end, and that's coming out. Whoa, that is terrible. Alright, so let's get a little bit medieval, and let's try to disassemble those. The smell is terrible. This is the actual insulator, but this is the actual electrodes. Not electrodes, but you know, plates. Those are some conductive material, and they're isolated from each other. And they are in a coil to decrease the size of the thing.